A media organization attained a copy of a document which whistleblowers subsequently authenticated to the committee that is styled the FBI's Domestic Terrorism Symbols Guide on Militia Violent Extremists. Mr. O'Boyle, are you generally familiar with that guide?
Yes.
Was the Betsy Ross flag in the terrorism symbol guide?
It was.
And what about the Betsy Ross flag makes someone more likely to be a violent extremist?
I wish there was a reasonable explanation for that question.
There isn't.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz was at that hearing. You saw him in that clip asking Garrett O'Boyle about who has been targeted by the FBI, and he joins us now tonight. Congressman, great to have you with us on this program. You know, I would love to start with this, Congressman. You know, there's a great many Americans who have seen this and heard this and are beginning to become aware of the problems within the FBI. But then they go to the next question, and it's the question I have to start with you. What can be done about it? When will there be any accountability?
We don't throw people in jail in Congress. That's probably for good reason. We have to defang and defund the authorities that have been weaponized against the people. We have to get the FBI out of Washington, D.C. Much of what you heard today is that there are good FBI agents and analysts all around this country, and there is pressure that comes out of headquarters and out of the Washington field office to do things that are against the law and the Constitution. And then when people are brave enough to push back, they are crushed. We have seen how the FBI has targeted President Trump, how they've targeted anyone who believes in the Second Amendment or build the wall or, for goodness sake, the Betsy Ross flag. But now we see how they go after their own. And they're doing it to make an example of these people because they know that the corruption runs deep and they're deeply afraid that more people will come forward. So it's easier for them to torture Garrett O'Boyle, to leave his children without jackets in a cold winter, to leave Steve Friend without an ability to make an income. It's easier to do that than to face the consequences of the corruption that they have allowed to seep into an agency that seems to have sown more evil than they have rooted out.
And Congressman, you tweeted today, yet another example of that corruption is that you have a whistleblower out of the Boston field office who has brought to light, affirmed that there was FBI presence on January 6th, infiltration in the riot on January 6th. With all of that in hand, and I heard you say this now, we fully understand the limitations on the power of Congress. As you just said, you do not throw people in jail, but you do have the power of the purse. And you alluded to that a moment ago. You do have appropriations. Is that, in the end, the avenue that Congress can pursue in attempting to reform the FBI, in how you fund the FBI?
Yeah, the lifeblood of the things that you are concerned about, it's the money. So we have to cut off the money, and we also have to make organizational changes. My colleague Dan Bishop of North Carolina has suggested breaking up the FBI so that their agents fall within the jurisdiction of the U.S. attorneys throughout the country. That way everything isn't centralized, where you have a circumstance like in Boston where the Boston agents were saying, we're not going to go and round up people just because they happen to be in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, and for that they faced consequences, and that's deeply unfair.
All right, Congressman Matt Gaetz. It was an important hearing today. We appreciate your participation, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.